Hey everybody, Randy here in the Eastwood garage, live with our biggest live event ever. Bo's here, he's powder coating. We've already started the demos. This is going to be a gift guide, so we've got a ton of amazing presents and a lot of demonstrations. Beyond powder coating, which we've already started, we've got plasma cutting, MIG and TIG welding demonstrations, English wheel, shrinker stretcher, and a bunch of great small products that make great gifts, tire pressure gauges, underhood lights, some new products that just came out that also make great gifts that we're going to demonstrate for you. Make sure you share this because we're going to give away a lot of hats and shirts today. We've never given away shirts before. We're giving away shirts today. All you have to do, if you're watching this on Facebook, is click share and you're entered to win. Once in a while, we're actually going to give them away live on the air, not like the next day like we usually do. We got Scott over here, our lead tech. Scott is going to be answering your questions. He's going to be throwing them to us. And also, he's the one picking out the winners for today. So make sure you're nice to him, because once in a while, we're going to ask him to pick out a winner. So you got to make sure you keep sharing this. And that way you're going to be entered. Do we have a shot of the hat and the shirts that we're giving out? So we're going to be giving them away over the course of the next 2 hours. That's right. We're going to be live for about 2 hours. If you're watching this recorded, if you think you missed something, this is going to be on Facebook and YouTube, so you will be able to watch it recorded. You'll be able to go back and see this little demo. And actually, we're doing something different because we're not demoing powder coating car parts. We're doing fishing lures. So like I said, make sure you share it. Make sure you visit Eastwood.com and check out the gift guide. That's where most of these products are. And if you want them in time for Christmas, if you order by tomorrow, that's Thursday. If you order by Thursday, pretty much every product that you see can be delivered by December 24th. So now that we got that out of the way, so what are we powder coating exactly here today? Well,
like you said, we're doing something a little bit different. We want to show that powder coating can work on things more than just auto parts. So today I chose to do fishing lures, spinners and jigs.
Yeah.
A lot of guys like to fish. Sometimes you like making your own lures. This is a great way to do it. You can have your own colors, your own coatings.
I don't fish, but I've heard about it a lot, that this is actually pretty popular as powder coating fishing lures and getting the exact look you want.
If you want to make your own lures and you're looking for that special look, it's the easiest way to do it.
So what gun are we using?
Today we're using a DIY gun.
You get in and get a shot of this one?
It's our entry-level gun. Allows you to do pretty much everything our DIY can without the ease of the second coats and some of the more complex, larger parts. But if you're just looking to get into powder coating, this is a great place to start.
Yeah. So if you're looking to get into powder coating, this is the gun. This one's there at our gift guide today. So if you go on, you're going to see that at a great price.
Yep.
A lot of these products, we're giving like 10% off, free shipping on a lot of this stuff. So you want to make sure you visit Eastwood.com to check that out. So let's check out, I guess let's get this powder coated and get it in the oven so we can show off the oven too.
Touch it up real quick.
So powder's that easy, you just kind of...
Exactly. It forms a little cloud that's charged, and the charge draws the powder to the parts. Once everything looks good and coated.
Now, can we get in? I mean, it looks bright, but around 450, is that right? Should we set it 400?
You warm it up at 450, and then when you put the stuff in, whatever parts you're working on, I turn it down to 400.
So we recommend 450 just because when you open it up, when you open and shut.
Exactly, you lose a lot of heat, so that 450 helps regain that 400 degrees you need to be at.
Well, while we're here, we might as well, I was going to talk about the compressor, but we'll get to that in a minute. So while we're here, why don't we talk about, so this is our powder coating oven.
It is. It was our solution to the guys that don't have a bigger commercial oven or old household oven in their garage.
Yeah.
It runs off 120, so you don't need to have a 240
So that's big
outlet.
for a lot of people. You can use it anywhere. And it goes up to 450 degrees.
It goes up to 450, handles most small parts.
Well, we've done, if you've seen our videos, we've done, over here, we've got our timing chain cover. We've got the air cleaner cover. You know, all this stuff fits in there easy.
Calipers.
Plus, you did some outlet covers.
Yeah, I'm a little OCD, so when I redid my garage, I didn't like the steel finish. I didn't want it to rust, so I powder coated it.
Yeah, and it comes with 2 racks. We actually, if you saw, we actually used the 1 rack to set it on because there's too much height, so we don't.
Yeah.
So you get 2 racks with it. And sometimes I've even seen you put it in high and hang the parts.
Yep.
So you can even actually do that. There's a little tip. So you don't actually have to set them on there. If you have something you can hang, you can put the rack in at the top and just hang the parts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, today we did the little jig to hold everything, just because hanging them doesn't work so good with the video, but if I was at home.
Well, you can see it's already changing on the parts. Is that because the metal's thinner? Joe, can you get in and see that? Because this is a pretty good shot because you can see what the powder looks like when you apply it, which
Exactly.
is going to be on the heavy, the bolts and everything else. And then you can see it already changing color on the lures because that's thinner, so that metal heated up.
Yep, they're thinner. It takes less time to heat up, whereas the bigger parts, it's going to take a little bit longer.
And don't commit a crime because I can see you're perfect when you're powder coating because I can see your fingerprint there perfectly, I believe.
I'll have to hide that later.
So, all right, so do I set the timer now for 20 minutes? Or?
If all the parts are flowing out, so now I would set the timer.
So we just set it for, it's 20 minutes?
20
right?
minutes.
That should be plenty for something like this.
Yeah,
right?
they'll give it the complete cure. You'll get the durability and the finish you want.
All right, so I guess we'll keep working our way over just to show off. Joe, were you able to get, now if you watched recently, we did about 2 months ago, we did a powder coating live video where we did some of this stuff. And actually, we did a valve cover in orange, and we're getting about 2,000 views a day on that video. We're up to about 100,000 views. But this is just basic example of we laid white down first, blue over white, and then over just the chrome.
Yep.
I mean, and it looks pretty, to me, it looks pretty amazing. And there's just a translucent red we did in the past. Like you said, we've got some, and we even did glass.
Yeah, glass.
So glass, it's great for, so powder coating is also, fishing lures. It's great for outlet covers. I've heard people doing golf club heads.
Golf club heads, you know of a lady does stained glass windows.
Really?
Yeah, she uses our powder coating guns, breaks the glass, coats it, and then glues it in.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So yeah, I mean, pretty much anything that can take the 400-degree heat, you can typically find a way to powder coat
it. And it looks great, and it's durable. So we did some durability tests here. So right here, this is just some aluminum foil that we powder coated just to show you. Like you can ball this up however you want, undo it, and you can't even, it's not flaking off, it's not chipping, it's not
cracks,
peeling.
No tears.
And I mean, we've done this red one, it even rips, and the paint still hasn't flaked off. And if we get it, I'm going to grab these. Here's a couple we've done where we hit them with a pick hammer. Are we good here, Joe? So, let me get in here. So, this one's powder coated, and we hit it with a pick hammer. And as you can see, all it does is stretch the powder. Whereas this one we hit with a pick hammer, and you can see how it's flaked. So, you can see how durable powder coating is as, compared to paint. So, I guess the one other thing, so basically powder coating we found out, simple DIY gun, simple little oven here, and the last thing needed is a compressor.
Compressor.
Because you need air.
Exactly. So we brought this in for the hot coat line. It's a simple little 3-gallon pancake compressor. It's great for the powder coating guns, airbrushes, filling up tires, simple
Just to have around the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so light, your kids, your wife, anybody can
move it, pick it up.
And lift it up. I mean, you carry it around, so you just keep it in your garage. So even if you're not powder coating, you're going to use this thing all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even in my house, I have a big compressor. I like this one. It's quieter.
And it's oilless.
It is oilless.
So there's no maintenance. It's got a drain here. I'm flipping around. It's got a drain on the bottom, so you can drain out any moisture that accumulates. And it's really nice. We've been using it around here for all this stuff. So basically, like if you want to get into powder coating, right here for a couple $100.
Yeah, under $200.
And the powder coating gun's probably the cheapest part of it, maybe? Close? Am I making stuff up?
The powder is. I mean, right now the gun, the compressor.
But I mean, you're looking at a couple $100, maybe a little more to get
right around
started.
the $200 mark.
Yeah, and you're started powder coating with a compressor you can use for other stuff.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, how much, okay, so we can use a small compressor. If you have it, you can use a big compressor though, too, if you already have one.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I mean, you don't run it much PSI
We
or anything, right?
run it at 5 to 10 PSI. Typically, we recommend 5 PSI. 10 tends to put out a little too much powder, but sometimes you have to go that high.
Yeah, so you don't need much.
You
So
don't
that's
need
why
much.
it'll run off of something like this.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys saw when he was putting it on, it's just little puffs.
Yep.
And then when you're done, what's the cleanup compared to like a paint gun?
So the cleanup's much better than a paint gun. When you're done, it's essentially blowing powder off the leftover areas where you were working, whereas a paint gun, you got to use solvents and clean the guns.
Yeah, and you have the overspray stuck to your floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you got to put a bunch of paper or plastic down. Where this, we're just going to sweep it up when we're
broom or
done.
blow gun.
we're just going to sweep it up and then we're done. And then, I mean, we've seen it. You take the blow gun, you blow out the, you just blow out the gun.
Yep.
You're not cleaning with a bunch of solvents like you said, like a paint gun.
Exactly.
You just blow it out and you're ready to go. It's so easy. And it's like non-toxic or anything. You just sweep it up and throw it away.
It's considered a nuisance dust like sawdust or sanding body filler.
Oh, okay. So, we've got a few minutes here till this is, till this is cured. So, but we got a few other products I think we want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Over here we've got, let's go over and talk about it.
All right.
How about that? Let's start with this. So, and then all of a sudden I hear everybody's using it. It's a new popular tool. So, I have yet to use it.
It's one of those neat tools
I'm
that
gonna give it to you.
It seems like a lot of guys find different ways to use it. We don't necessarily call out any one specific use for it. I've seen guys who like to use it to go back and sand down weld seams so that they can blend the weld into the panels.
So there you did. So we're going to just do this side here in a minute. Here.
Yeah. One guy here likes to use it for drilling out spot welds. He finds if you just put it on point on the spot welds,
It just drills them right out.
yep, drills them out, doesn't go through the back panel.
But we sell a spot weld drill bit if you want the right tool for the job. But today, this tool will do that job.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
mean, it's one of those tools
Yeah.
that you don't know exactly where you need it, but then when you need it, it's
I
amazing.
saw guys using the tool. I mean, it was a similar one. I'm not sure if it was an Eastwood one, but they were using to sand down an edge of a fender, a fender lip. They were just doing little fine work on it.
Yep.
And you can get into because it's so long and skinny, you can get into areas that you would never get into with a standard.
Well, exactly. It fits in those tight spots, hard to get areas.
If you had a grinder, even a little angle grinder, the little 2-inch one.
Yeah, you still got to fit a 2-inch circle in there as
still not
opposed
getting in
to a 1/2-inch wide strip of sandpaper. One other thing we did with this is because the 1/2-inch by 18 attachment is fairly large.
Yeah.
We brought in an optional 3/8 by 13-inch
So
sanding
can we hold
arm.
that here so Joe can?
And
Yeah.
you
So
can swap this out by loosening one screw and then putting the arm on and tightening it back up, and then you have 2 different sanders.
All right.
A lot of versatility there.
So should we clamp this
Yeah.
down and just? Where do you want to clamp it at? Right over.
Right on
Yeah,
the
do it
side
over
there,
here.
yeah.
That plate real quick. You want to hold it up?
Is that a good spot?
That's good stuff.
How are we making out, Scott? Ready? Okay, let's clamp this down. Good? Is that enough room?
That should be good. And as you can see, pretty quick, it grinds that weld down. A little bit more work and a
Wow.
surface conditioning disc, and you wouldn't even know you welded it in there.
Wow, that's pretty quick for a few seconds like that.
Yeah.
And you're not grinding down all the other junk next to it either.
Exactly, you're not using a big disc and putting a lot of heat to the metal.
Wow, that's quite the tool. I may have to get one of those. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, man, that is. All right. So now the guy you think that has everything, there's the tool to get him, right?
Something new.
The Pro Mini Belt Sander. So just like we were saying earlier, Eastwood.com gift guide. So we've got about 10 more minutes. We can talk about the brake bleeding wrenches,
All right.
which I've never used these either.
Well, these are brand new.
That's why I like you, Bo. You keep bringing stuff that I've never used.
I like to do different things.
Here we go. So, I was confused at first, and then you started explaining to me. Now they sound like a must-have. This is something
Yeah.
a mechanic would use. You'd use it with your own car.
Exactly, any DIY guy, the basic idea behind these is allowing you to brake bleed your car without having a second person to help you. So you have the wrenches here.
Do we get?
Yeah.
And you get maybe set them out here so Joe can kind of get them, see what you get. All right, this is what you're getting here. And this one right here too. So you get that little set. Does that make sense for you? Joe's gonna have a heck of a day today because he's got 2 hours of walking around following us everywhere. And we've got a couple more hosts.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, we got Cody coming in and Matt. So, so we good here?
We're good.
All right, so how do these work?
So you have the wrench, and the wrench is built with a brake bleeder adapter in it. And basically, it's a 10 millimeter socket that has a rubber boot in it so that it fits over the brake bleeding screw so that you can actually turn it. And it fits a tight seal on the screw so no air or fluid leaks by it or comes back in as you're brake bleeding. Then with that, you get this hose, which also has a one-way check valve. So you'd plug the hose into this end of the brake bleeding wrench like this. You plug this end into a capture bottle of some sort so the brake fluid can flow through.
So when you hit it, the fluid only goes out?
Only goes out. So when you're ready to brake bleed, crack the bleeder, get in your car, pump the brakes. When you're ready to go check it, stop pumping, come back,
Just
tighten it down.
And it's that easy?
That easy. Look to see if there's bubbles. If there's bubbles, make sure you have enough in your reservoir, and then repeat the steps.
And you're good.
You're good.
And it comes with 3 standard sizes, basically?
Yep, 3 standard sizes, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and 11 millimeter.
Wow.
Comes with the hose, you know, perfect pairing with some of our other brake tools.
It sounds like it sounds like a great gift for a guy who likes to tool around, or your son. If you've got a kid, a lot of kids now are working on their own cars, doing stuff.
Even me, I mean, brake changes nowadays, for new pads, you could pay a couple $100s, or you can do it yourself and just pay for the parts. So,
wow, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool gift. Like I said, you know, I like seeing these products that I haven't had a chance to use yet. You know, they're just coming in. You know, it's pretty cool to see them, and you know, stuff that makes your life a lot easier.
yeah.
So before we get to the powder, which we've got a couple more minutes, it's probably back here. We can walk over here, let Joe get over there, and get set up. We're going to go check out the go-through sockets. Hey, everybody, don't forget to share, because if you share this video, you're entered to win the hat and a shirt. We're giving away a bunch of stuff. Probably every 10 or 15 minutes here, we're going to give something away. Do you have any shares yet, Scott?
Got one so far.
Okay, we're not going to do the contest quite yet. We need some more shares. If we get some more people sharing it, yeah, then we'll start giving some stuff away. So we're going to go over here. Oh, so this came in a couple weeks ago. This is pretty cool. I use it in a live video, but do you want to show us kind of? I mean, I guess right here. Here's a standard one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this part. So, are you in? We got some stuff in the way here. Are we good here, Joe? So you got a longer bolt like this, right? Now, obviously, there's your standard socket. That's not going to work. But, what's that? Was that good?
Show it again real quick.
Okay. So we've got your standard. Obviously, there's no, yeah, I just feel dumb for trying. But, like a real guy, I've got the deep socket as well. But,
Still can't get there.
it's still, as you can see, it still can't get there. So what do? You hacksaw off the top of the bolt, right?
Like so.
That's,
Pull out your grinder, make it a little shorter.
or we have this set right here. Joe, if you get a, so can you tell me a little bit about this set?
So basically, this is a go-through socket set. A few different companies out there have them. We brought out our own version. And with this set, we went with the splined option. So instead of having your normal hexes, the sockets have spline teeth on the inside. And what that allows to happen is it can work with multiple different sizes in fasteners, SAE, metric, Torx.
So that's why up here, I mean, it has all the metric numbers, but below it has all the standard.
Exactly.
So that socket will do 16 and 5/8.
Yep.
Plus, it'll do what, Torx, hex?
Torx,
because
hex.
of the shape.
Yeah, exactly. Because it has teeth that bites into the different corners. So you're not limited to just a straight hex bolt.
So would that help with like bolts? Use something that's a little rounded?
It should help with them. At some point, the bolt will always be too rounded to really bite. But you know, if it's gotten to the point where your regular wrench won't grab it, I'd go straight to this and see what I can make happen.
Yeah, this is a really, really handy tool. So this is 9/16. So I'm going to grab this. Make sure I'm doing this right. It's that easy, right?
That's that easy.
Yeah, see, so you get this, and this just inserts. Now, if you want to see the difference between a standard one, can you see the go through, the hollow part here?
Yeah, I see your black shirt.
Is that better? No?
No, I see the inside of the Camaro.
Oh, okay. All right, so then we just put this down on it. As you can see, it hits. and
Loosens it up.
before you know it, it's loosened up. Great. This just is like a great something to have just around the house.
Yeah, around the house, in the back of your car or truck in case of an emergency.
Yeah.
The other nice thing to it is it comes with this adapter so that you can use it with regular 3/8 drive
Oh,
sockets.
check that out. So if you want to just put regular sockets on, I didn't even realize that part of the kit. And then what's this one? Oh, there's another adapter.
Yeah, it's just a different adapter, and then you have this extension here, which is also a go-through, so in case you need...
So if it's something hard to reach.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a heck of a, I mean, like I said, just a great, that just looks like a great gift for, like, because I'm pretty sure most people don't have this.
Well, yeah, it's one of those tools that you might not use every day, but again, it comes in real handy, and it just stays in a nice tight package.
And you don't have to, I mean, you can use it for a regular.
You can.
You can use it for a regular one as well. All right, so should we go check on the powder?
Yeah.
Scott, do we have any questions yet?
No, we got a bunch of shares now, though.
We do?
Yep.
All right, how about, okay, I have an idea. No, yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes. We'll check on the powder, and then we'll try to give it something away. All right?
I'm gonna borrow a pair of welding gloves.
Hey, I just pulled them. Oh, Brian will be glad we're putting in the use. Here, we just got, these are MIG welding gloves. I just pulled we just got these from the warehouse. They look, that's why they look brand new. So we have the TIG welding gloves, but these are MIG welding gloves. These things are pretty nice.
They are nice.
Hope they're not too small for you. I think I pulled them for me, for my hands. They're made of leather. So, yeah, and in a couple minutes, we're going to give some, let's
I
pull
think
these
we're
out.
done. I mean, we got a minute left. I think that's good enough.
Let's shut this off. Oh!
So I'm gonna make your gloves pink.
Oh, wow. So what fish likes fluorescent pink?
Don't know.
I don't fish. I was just wondering. Like, is it a trout? Is it a bass?
Honestly, my choice of color was just what would be easiest to see in the live video.
Do we have enough light to really see this well over here? I mean, does it look?
I'll get in closer.
I mean, I could drag a light over or something if we have to here, or carry it over to the light. Make sure I don't drop it. Hey, while he's moving in, can we cut back to? Am I on the wide camera?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is what we're going to do. In 5 minutes, we're going to announce a winner. So Scott, I want you to pick out somebody, and we're going to give them a hat this time. We're going to give a hat away in about 5 minutes. So make sure you start sharing it right now, because in 5 minutes I'm going to ask Scott for a winner, and we'll give it out right here on the air. So, and if you missed this is a powder coating demo on fishing lures, because we always do car parts.
Yeah, gets a little boring.
Yeah, so we figured let's do something a little different. And we okay?
Yeah, it's good stuff.
What's wrong, Joe?
Nothing.
You look like you're in pain.
All right.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
So, it was just done. Whoa! It was just done with our DIY gun. Powder cleans up easy. And then we use the compressor, the pancake compressor, and in our oven. And like I said, if you're watching this recorded, when we're done, you can go back through and check out how Bo did it. And don't forget, on YouTube, there's tons of videos on how to powder coat. We've done a lot recently on all those products you've seen, on how to do valve covers. So if you just search for Eastwood powder coating, you're going to learn. I mean, it's a great present. All the stuff here, as a whole or individually. Like if you need a compressor, there it is. Or if you want to get started powder coating, this whole little kit here. And again, all you got to do is go to eastwood.com. It's the gift guide at Eastwood. If you click on that, all this stuff's here. In a few minutes, we've got welders and plasma cutters coming up. We've got Cody coming out. We've got a couple guest hosts. Bo's going to get out of here in a minute. And then we've got Cody. And then we're going to have Matt, who you've seen do a lot of our metal fab, MIG and TIG welding. So I guess, is that it for now?
Yeah.
It looked like right on schedule.
Nice.
That's 25. Well, thanks a lot, Bo.
Thank you.
For the help. And yeah, I'll let you go. Don't forget to shut off your mic.
Give your gloves back.
I'll put your gloves. Yeah. Hey, Brian, did you see me? You know who you are. We put them to use already. If you're watching. All right, so now, like I said, we'll give it a couple minutes. Don't forget to keep sharing this, because in about 3 minutes, Scotty C over here, your favorite tech and social producer, he's wearing one of the hats we're giving away. Should we give it? We might give away the one that's on his head and let him autograph it for you. Well, maybe we'll let him keep that one. So, yeah, so make sure you share. Don't forget Eastwood.com. Most of the stuff, if you purchase by tomorrow, it will arrive in time for Christmas. It'll be there by the 24th. So now is the time. So let's, I guess, what else you want to get started on? Should we do the brake flare tool? Since you're over there? Is that cool? And in a couple minutes, we're going to bring Cody out. Hey, and if you guys have used, hey, Bo, you can leave that in there with them. Okay. I'm just talking to Bo. So, yeah, so brake flaring. It's a lot of you guys have probably used those. A lot of you probably use those hand tools you get from an auto parts store, and you try, and it's really hard to get a good quality flare that you trust. So there's an answer. Let me put this in a different. Let me put this in. I'm trying to figure out this is probably the easiest way for Joe to shoot this. Now I'll put it in like this. He can deal with me. So all you gotta do is put it in the vise. It's really simple. So I don't know if we can come over. It comes with 4 sets of dies. Now, this is going to make 45-degree single, double, and bubble flares, and it's going to do really good, high-quality flares. It's going to do them in 3/16, 1/4 inch, 5/16, and 3/8, as well as 4.75 millimeter. So you get these dies, and if you're into it, we also sell a separate die for doing other flares. So I get stuck. Can I put them in here? All right. So this is how simple it is. Put the tool in the vise. Now you got brakes. Like I said, if you use one of them cheap tools, you may not get a good flare. It may not work. It may not seal properly, and you don't want that with your brake lines. You definitely don't want it with your brake lines. You don't want it with your fuel lines, because you can use this fuel lines, transmission cooler lines, anything else. Brake lines is the most popular thing. The first thing you do, say you have your line here, make sure you deburr it. You don't want burrs on the inside or the outside, because as it gets folded around, the outside becomes the inside, I guess. So we're just going to just lube it up a little bit. We're going to push this around, and we're going to put the die block on the top. And you're going to want it to stick out a little bit, like that. Then just pull this over, just lightly, and you're going to see why. Because then you go to operation 0. This is just a flat one. And you just pull it, and then you tighten it down all the way. And all that's doing is, that's just making your tube flush, so that way everything's done exact. So this is 3/16, so I just select operation 1. So you're just going to see it's 2 more pulls of the handle. Operation 2, which is right here. You got that, Joe?
Got it.
And bam. And that's it. And you will get a perfect flare every time. Like I said, single, double, bubble. We're doing the double flare right here. Wipe off the stuff. See, there you go. Should I hold up against my shirt, or you got a good shot right there?
That's good stuff right there.
So as you see, you get a perfect double flare.
The other way.
Huh?
Yeah, good stuff.
There.
Excellent.
All right. So let me put some of this away. Should I do another one just to show you? Should I just do another one quick, in case you missed it? So, a little bit of lube, put it in. Make sure you get the right end of the die. Make it stick it out a little bit. Push it down. Oh. Lightly tighten. Oh. So much for making this seem easy. Push it through. Lightly tighten. Pull operation 0. Let off. Operation 1 for 3/16. Then you find operation 2 for 3/16. And that easy, you get a perfect flare every time. It's that easy, I can do it. So we demonstrate this thing a lot. This is one of our most popular tools. It's really amazing. At shows, we'll go there and demonstrate this thing for hours. So people are always really impressed by this. You got to check out the reviews on this product. If you go to Eastwood, just check out the reviews. If you've used this, let the other people out there know about it. Post it as a comment. There's a lot of people out there who'd like to hear. I mean, they hear it from me and some other guys here, but hearing it from our fans and customers means a lot more. So let me put this away quick. I'm going to cut over to Scott, see if he's picked a winner yet. Scott, have you picked a winner?
I have. First winner for the hat's going to be Ozstar.
The first win for the hat is Ozstar. Yep. That's cool. Do you know why?
Sounds like a good one to pick.
Ozstar, Ozstar is he watches a lot of our live videos because a lot of times when Matt's out here, I'm where you're at. Yep. So you start to recognize some of the people. All right, so Ozstar, you've won an Eastwood hat. So like I said, keep sharing it because in a few minutes I think maybe we'll give away a shirt. After Cody comes out, maybe we'll let him in on it, and we'll end up giving away a couple more hats as well. So, all right. So now, like I said, there's this stuff. Let's move on. How about let's move on to some stuff here that makes really good gifts. So we got some stuff so far. That's, you got to be a car guy. Maybe you got to really be into powder coating. What are some presents that are just great to have around the house that you can get for anyone? Well, right here, some wheel dollies. We're going to talk about them in a minute, the wheel dollies. But we got a tire pressure gauge. Now, a lot of you are probably saying, what do you need a tire pressure gauge for? Right here. I've got a chuck, I've got a gauge. Yeah, and you can probably never find one of them or maybe both of them. Or better yet, your wife, your kids, they don't know how to use them, you don't trust them. They're running their tires low because they don't know how to check and put air in their own tires. Yeah, so let me show you how easy this is. So you turn it on. It's got a digital display. It even lights up. So if you're using it at night, it's easy to read. You plug it in. Now the nice thing about this will go up to 100 PSI, and it even works well at below 10 PSI. So not only is it just great for everything else, it'll go to a pretty high pressure. You can use it on truck tires. It'll go really low if you're using it on something that doesn't hold much pressure. So right now we're at 26. So you just depress it. I want to put it up to about, I'll put it at 32 pounds. Oh, so we're at 32.2. Let's just do something. So I went to 35, so I went too far, right? So it's that easy to use. Can you see this? Right there? Okay, so all you do is squeeze a handle. So it's at 35, right? Now, I said I wanted 32. So now, you squeeze the handle, and it releases the air. That easy. So you're not screwing around. 32.2, I'm going to be exact. 32.0. So it's that easy, exactly the air pressure I want. Actually, I mean, this is a really cool tool. It's great to have around the house, great to have around, your garage, and it'll probably encourage the people in your family to check their tire pressure and before they start wearing out their tires or they run them way low by accident. Now, while we're over here, we're going to do the battery maintainer. This is one of Joe's favorite products that we sell because it maintains batteries, and that's what he likes about it. Now, seriously, so let me get it in here. So this is what you get. Battery maintainer. So it does just that. It really does. It maintains batteries. You okay there, big guy? Okay. Not just on cars. I mean, cars is the most popular use. It's really easy to use. So all you have to do is you take your alligator clamps, you clamp it on your battery, you plug this into the wall. It's got I think the cord's about 12 feet, so it's real long. You just plug this in, and it just basically trickle charges your battery. It's going to keep your battery charged. And if you've got a motorcycle or something where the battery's hard to get to, we have these little pigtails. So all you have to do is unplug this part right here. You unplug this, and then you plug these in, and these can stay on your battery, like on your motorcycle. So then when you want, you just unclip this. Let me put this down so you just unclip it, you clip this in, and your battery's charged. It's great. Like I said, it's like, you want to keep your battery charged because say you get that nice day over winter, you get that nice day in the spring, and you go out, you don't want your car battery to be dead, because now if it's dead, you got to hook up to a battery charger, if you even have one, and it's going to take a couple hours. Plus, every time that battery goes dead, it shortens the life of the battery, and pretty soon you're spending a lot more money on batteries than you want to. So something like this, very inexpensive, and it's going to in the long run, because you're not going to be buying as many batteries, and you're going to get to enjoy that car, because when you get a nice day, you're actually going to be able to drive it. Plus, like I said, you got lawn equipment, snowmobile, you got a boat, you got a jet ski, anything like that, you can hook up to a charger. So it's not just for winter storage, it can also be for summer storage, for something like a snowmobile. So when it snows, like we're in Pennsylvania, it might this weekend, you can actually get on that snowmobile and go out and ride. So I think we're about ready. Oh, there he is. Cody.
Hey Randy, what's one important thing with the battery maintainer?
You mean the reverse polarity protection?
No, the fact that you gotta take it off before you start the vehicle. Take off.
We got to keep bringing that up. I actually took off. I forgot. I even leave a note. Here's a good thing that says, don't forget to disconnect the battery maintainer. The problem is if you don't read your note and you take off.
You might forget.
Yeah, you might forget. So don't. So you don't want to do that, which I've done. So hey, Cody, we're actually going to give out a shirt here during your watch.
Okay,
I think.
cool.
So maybe we'll probably get to that. Yeah. So we got Cody here is going to help us demonstrate. Plasma cutter, MIG welder, the pneumatic.
The pneumatic panel prep tool.
This thing is awesome. We've got this. If you guys have used this tool, let us know. We just came out with it.
Yep.
So there might not be a whole lot of people yet, but that's something you really, so we're going to get to that. Plus
We're
some
going to talk about our
accessories.
Art of Darkening welding helmet.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about our welding gloves, welding jacket, which I'm wearing right now. So yeah, let's get started.
Okay, so you've been working on the Camaro. A lot of people see it around here. If you had to buy one welder, what would it be?
Oh, it'd be the MiG 175 every day.
So why is that?
It's what you need to do automotive restoration. Everything from thin sheet metal up to heavy fabrication, up to 5/16 plate we rate this tool to, and you can do aluminum.
Yeah, because
you get a bottle argon, you get a spool gun, you weld everything you need.
So with this welder here, what he's saying, on a restoration, sheet metal, you're going to be doing sheet metal, you're going to be doing patch
sheet metal.
panels, and maybe you're going to be working on a frame.
You might have to weld some brackets, some tabs, change the
Yes.
suspension up a little.
All kinds of stuff like that. And the, we got Matt. Matt's coming through. he's going to be on in about 15, 20 minutes.
I put my makeup on.
Yeah. So a lot of guys have seen him. He's going to be doing some English wheels, some TIG welding, shrinker stretcher, hammer dolly. But back to the welder, like you were saying, sheet metal to the bigger stuff, plus aluminum.
Aluminum, yep.
And we give you the spool gun. That's what's great. The spool gun's free. I think that's a $200 value. Just
Yeah,
for
if you wanted to buy this same welder from another brand with the same capabilities, I should say, to get the spool gun to be able to weld aluminum, to have the infinitely adjustable volts and wire feed,
Yeah.
you're looking at $800-900. I mean, we got the best steel going by far, and it's a great performing product.
coming in close to half that. I have one. I use it all the time, and I use it because it does. Now it operates on 240 volts.
Yes.
But another good thing about this: 3-year warranty and lifetime satisfaction guarantee.
Yeah.
So I mean, a 3-year warranty. We've got confidence in it if we're going to guarantee it for that long.
Yep, and you'll get to talk to somebody like Scott over in tech. He'll walk you through all the problems, any issues you may have, and if you are having some serious problems, we'll send you out a new unit, we'll get it back, and we'll diagnose it. We'll see what's happening, and we're going to improve.
Yeah.
We continuously improve our products also.
Yeah, everything here, including the
Yes.
welding cart, which we're going to get to in a little bit. Plus, Twigo consumables.
Yep. Yeah,
So
if
that's
you
one
want to
good-
run to your local welding shop because you're out of contact tips, you can.
Yeah, you can get them at Eastwood, or you can get them at your local shop. A couple months ago, we had a guy come in that was trying to make. He bought one from a tool manufacturer, and guess what? They're the only ones who sell the consumables. And
Really?
he needed, and because
Wow.
it was like a proprietary. I'll get the word right. Welder. So so they're the only ones with it. So I mean, maybe they got a good deal, but guess what? Now
You're locked in.
Yeah,
and
you're
if
locked
they
in.
quit making parts, you got to
can't.
buy a whole new welder.
But this here, you can go down your parts store, anybody that sells welding stuff, and you can get all the consumables you need.
Yes. Yeah. Some of the most common consumables available.
So what are we going to start with first?
So we're going to start with some 1/8" plate. So we're going to set the machine up.
Is this for TIG welding?
I don't know who set this
That's
here.
probably Matt.
That might
We're going
be
to set
Matt.
this aside. I'll put that down here.
Let's take.
Geez, we got all kinds of stuff
Yeah,
here.
you got all sorts of
We've been-
things here.
I've been busy. Oh, right there's one of his pretty welds from earlier. A little MIG weld and some 1/8".
So we're going to do the same MIG weld on an 1/8 inch plate. We're going to push, and then we're going to do it on a lap joint.
So generally you push MIG welding.
Yes, you can pull in certain instances
Yeah.
and applications. You know, it's personal preference as much
Yeah.
as it is machine setup.
So the first thing, so that's
So we're going to set
if
the
we can
machine
get Joe
up.
around here to show how easy it is to set up.
So if you can get in here, Joe.
We'll just get
We're actually not plugged in yet. But what we're going to do, we're going to
I'll
check
plug
the,
it in. How about that?
The machine comes with a nice sticker on the inside, and it's got all the settings that we recommend for each metal thickness, depending on
Which is-
argons.
I mean,
Okay.
some people do C's, some people do.
I like to
little
do a U
back
just
into
to
it.
keep.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's to go back into the weld and keep heat there, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also to keep a constant movement
Okay.
and momentum. It helps you with your pace.
All right. So, we got to turn the bottle on.
Okay. So you have some footage. Do you want to show them that now, or?
We've got to that. We've got to the footage on it.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're good. So now we can just.
All right, and this is our most economical auto darkening welding helmet. It's a shade 11 that automatically darkens. You don't have any adjustment in your shade, but it's comfortable. It fits nice. It's light. I mean, feel how light that is.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is our basic entry level helmet.
Yep.
But it's got everything you need.
Yeah. If you're
Like
just gonna
11
MIG
shade.
weld and work on your car,
And
this is perfect.
11 is good for TIG welding.
Yes,
as well as
you
MIG.
can TIG weld with this as well.
And it's auto darkening, so that you don't have to flip it down.
Yeah.
It's going to sense when you start welding, and it'll auto dim to an 11 shade.
The auto darkening is a must when you're working on these cars because you might have to crawl under your car with your helmet down. It's the
Or if
only
you're
way
trying to
be able
hold
see.
something exact, and then you have to go like that. Every
You end
time
up
I do it,
moving.
my whole body moves and I lose it. But the auto darkening, you can
Takes
do
a
that.
lot of practice.
Well, let me turn this back on for you. You're set up
Okay.
here,
Yeah, I'm at E6.
E6.
So I'm gonna do 2 tacks, and then I'm gonna go across there. There we go.
Looking good, Cody.
Yeah, not bad.
Looking good. Should we get?
Not bad.
Is Joe can get a close up of this one a little bit.
There we
Yeah,
go. It was
so-
a little more consistent yesterday, but
There's.
still a very strong.
Here's the
weld.
other one we did. So, all right. So MIG welding's that easy. I can see the duty cycle on this is 30% at 130 amps.
Yep.
So it's got plenty duty cycle for any you're working on a car, because it's rare that you're going to be welding on a car because of heat. Anything that long. So that duty cycle is definitely going to get the job. If you're looking for a welder, whether even if you're not doing restoration, if you're just doing metal fab.
Yeah, I mean, this is the go-to welder to get. It'll do just about everything you need to do in a home shop.
Yeah, and today I said we got great deals on this. You can have them in time for Christmas, and all you have to do is go to eastwood.com, check out the gift guide. Now below it I see is a TIG welder, which if you're into TIG welding, you're going to stick with us because that's probably going to be in about 15 minutes.
Matt's going to demonstrate that.
Matt's going to get to the TIG welding, 15 minutes, half an hour, you're going to see a TIG welding demonstration. Matt demonstrates them a lot here, and it's pretty cool because you can really see we got some great footage of TIG welding. But that TIG welder, that thing's incredibly easy to use.
Ours is one of the easiest to use on the market because it's so simple to set up.
Yeah,
You have your amperage, you have your pre-flow and post-flow,
Yeah.
and then when you're doing AC welding for aluminum, you have your balance.
Yeah, because
But
that's
other
the
than
thing.
that,
You said you can
it's
weld
key.
aluminum. It's AC and DC.
It's AC and
So if
DC.
you're curious about what makes it, the AC
The
is
AC is
what-
for aluminum.
and the DC is for steel.
Yes.
And it'll do up to 1/4 inch. And like you said, I started off trying to learn off of one that had all kinds of, I guess, bells and whistles that I didn't need for working on a car for what I was doing.
Right.
And I got frustrated. I didn't have anybody around to really show me. Instruction books are difficult.
Yeah, if
I
you-
got this unit right here, and it was like minutes. Like we had an instructor come in. He's like, "Well, just kind of feed it like this." I fed it, and I think
Nice.
I could do something TIG welding. And it's just because it's so easy. That one has a chart on top too.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
going to
give
get
you
to
a chart.
that. Yeah, we'll get to that in a couple minutes. But the reason we're talking about this TIG welder is because of the cart that it's setting on, right? Let me move this over a little bit.
So this is our pro welding cart. And the beautiful thing about this welding cart is that it's set up to hold 2 tanks. So now you can have your MIG welder and your TIG welder all in one cart.
Because typically, if you had a MIG and a TIG,
You're storing a bottle somewhere.
yeah,
and
or you have to have
or
2
you're changing-
carts.
Yeah.
And you've got, so now you're taking up twice as much space as you have to. And if you're going back and forth with this, you have everything in one. And or say you only have a MIG welder, you can put the plasma cutter on the bottom as
Right.
well until you get the TIG.
Or if you have a MIG welder but you use the spool gun, you still need that separate tank of argon.
Yeah, good
And
point.
this helps you do that.
Yeah, so if you have the MIG, you got both bottles, you got your
Yeah.
plasma or the MIG TIG. Plus it has everything you need here. You can see it's got a hook on this side. It's got, well,
got
let me,
hooks
while we're
on this
here,
side.
it's got 6 tubes. It's got 6 holders for your,
You know which
like
door,
on this
which
one,
side the door is for your
the
MIG
door
welder?
opens here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it allows you, it's going to sound simple. A lot of carts you can't open your door because they'll hit on something. But like you were saying, we have our shelves on this side because our door opens here. But there's holes here, so we could just take the shelf. If our door opened on this side,
If this was a MiG 250, we'd actually have to have this
Yeah.
cart configured opposite because
and
the
then it
door
would just
opens
open
on the
here.
other side.
Yeah.
But it's super easy to do.
and I think it holds up to about 350 pounds. 400. How much does this hold, Scott? It holds a lot of weight. 400 pounds. So this one holds 400 pounds. I gave you a cheat sheet. So anyways, yeah, so it holds 400 pounds. Because you can see how heavy duty. You were talking about
We
us
upgraded the
improving.
wheels. Yep.
Yeah, we actually upgraded the axle and the wheels. So you can see how heavy duty they are. And the cool thing about this, you said it's innovative. Mark designed it because he wanted a cart that held everything.
Yeah.
So one of our engineers, you can see car guys, he had a problem. He wanted to save space. He designed a cart. Everybody's like, that's pretty cool. Next thing you know, it's in production. We're selling it to our customer. So really good cart. If you're looking to get somebody, they got a welder, you want to get them a cart, that's one to get today. Hey, while we're here, let's give away a shirt.
All right.
So can we do that?
Yep, next person up.
Yeah, hold on. No, we'll give everybody about 5 minutes. How about that?
Okay.
5 minutes?
Yep.
Okay, so 5 minutes from now, after we're going to demonstrate the plasma cutter. When we get done demonstrating, you seemed excited to give it away.
Yep.
So,
I got a list of them now that I can choose from.
yeah. So make sure you share it because we're going to demonstrate the plasma cutter. Then we're going to give away an Eastwood shirt. So, yeah, in about 5 minutes. So make sure you start sharing it now. So
we're going to move over
yeah, the plasma
cut
cutter.
60?
The VersaCut 60, we got to hook up the air. The air lines are over there. We got to move around a little bit. Now the VersaCut 60, it's 240 volts as well. You need clean, dry air. Now we do sell a few plasma cutters. We sell a 20 for basic sheet metal, really thin. The VersaCut 40, which is probably our most popular unit, great for if you were storing a car. But the VersaCut 60 is our favorite unit here because it goes
More is
sheet
always
metal.
better, right?
Yeah, sheet metal to 7/8. So if you want to do some serious, yeah, it's really light, so you can take it around anywhere. I know once in a while you walk into somebody, they got a garage and they got like the big old ones, and they're just amazed at how.
The new inverter technology, it's incredible how small we're able to make these machines, yet how powerful
Yeah,
they are.
I mean, you buy one and you want to go over to a buddy's house and help him out.
You can throw this
just-
in the back of your pickup truck
You
or
could
even
throw-
your car.
You could throw in your car,
Yeah.
and not even in the trunk. You could just throw this in the back seat.
And our Cut 40 is even smaller. Now, this Cut 60, it has the extra power,
Yeah.
but the Cut 40, the nice thing about it is that it's 120 and 240. It's
Okay.
a dual voltage machine. So that way, if you want to go to your buddy's place and he doesn't have a welding outlet,
Yeah,
you can still run it on 120. Now,
But
you can only cut up to about 1/8 inch with it.
Yeah.
But if you're doing sheet metal work, that kind of stuff, help him out with his restoration project, it's great.
Yeah, good units. So, all right, and if anybody here, if you guys have been using this VersaCut 60, let us know what you think about it. Let other people know. So we cut 60 amps.
Wow.
Look at that. That's a nice cut.
Nice clean cut.
Can we
Minimal
flip this
slag.
over? Yeah, there's almost no slag. We can flip this over, right?
Yeah.
Get Joe in here. Just tap that off.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff just swap safety glasses. You gotta stay safe.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, I should have safety glasses.
You should have safety glasses.
So there you can see, if we get, and if you're curious, we are cutting it on our plasma table, which is pretty cool. We can't really get into too much detail, but if you thought this table was cool, it's called a plasma cutting table. You can just check it out at Eastwood.
Another Eastwood exclusive product.
Yes. Again, built
Because we needed it.
because we need it. So now we're going to do sheet metal. So without
Okay.
making any adjustments, what do you want to make?
Let's go to Christmas tree.
Oh boy. I don't know.
This is our holiday gift guide, isn't it?
Yeah, but me drawing a Christmas tree, I should have practiced this.
I think Joe could probably do a better job.
Don't ever insult me like that again.
Yeah, give it a little base so we can bend.
All right.
All
So
right.
it's okay. It's not going to be the prettiest tree.
So now it's 60 amps. It's going to blow through this metal. So let's see how this.
I'm going to put that aside. That is an ugly tree.
I might not follow that.
Okay. Wow. I got to bend it right here. That was my plan. My plan was to bend it there
That is.
and make it stand up. That's going to be, you know something? You take that home, give it to a niece, a nephew, a cousin. If it's not stuck to
You
our
can
plasma
finish
table
all your Christmas shopping.
with
the
just
neat-
one sheet of,
Yep, just one sheet of 20 gauge sheet metal and a VersaCut
You're-
60.
yeah, just bend it there at the bottom. Look at that. Look at that. The bend could have been better. The tree is beautiful. But the key here,
There you go.
is,
See here, you can cut anything.
yeah, and so if you think of using a plasma cutter is difficult, we plugged in air. How much? So we need about 60 psi,
And about 7 CFM.
7 CF. So you don't need a huge compressor, really.
No,
You just-
30 gallon.
I mean,
Run it.
if you're working on cars and doing anything, you probably have a compressor big enough. He just basically set it 60, turned it on,
Yep.
cut half, cut sheet metal all in one.
And if you're doing a lot of sheet metal, you can turn it down from 60 amps, and that'll help you with consumable life. So your consumables will last a little longer.
I know we
Your
have all the
cutting width will
consumables.
actually be a little narrower.
Yeah, and Scott, our tech, is going to want to tell everybody, if it's not cutting right, check out the consumables, because this stuff here eventually,
It will wear out.
yeah, it does wear.
And we give you an
this
extra pack
yeah, you get
in
extra,
the machine.
Yeah, you get extra ones. They're good, especially you're doing rusty stuff. You're going overhead.
Yes.
When everything's dropping in it, that's when they're going to wear out quicker.
Also, when you try to pierce,
okay,
that puts a lot of strain on the
Yeah.
consumables. So it's often best to come from an edge.
and just go right through.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is one of my favorite tools we sell. This thing's awesome. You know what we forgot though when we were MIG welding?
What's that? The panel prep tool?
Perfect panel prep tool. What kind of host am I? The camera operator had to remind me. He's not going to let me live it down.
All right. Let's try our pneumatic perfect panel prep tool.
So we'll show him. First, let's show him what it was.
So
We'll get in, Joe. If you can. So what it does is it's going to put a 45-degree flange.
it's just going
on
to
this,
tip
right?
the edge, and it's going to create a
bevel.
valley.
Bevel. Can you see this? See what it does there? So let me see. One of these is.
So I like this piece because you can see.
I like the other one. Where we use the flange tool. Can you? Up here it wasn't. We good? So we're going to flip this around. So if I do this, see that? Now if you come over here, let me turn this around.
You get a
So I can
much
see.
flatter weld profile.
There's the one. Yeah.
While maintaining all the strength. So that'll minimize grinding.
Yeah, so the deal is that when you butt it and then you weld, if you don't get great penetration, when you grind it down, you're grinding through.
You're grinding through the majority of your weld.
Yeah, so there's nothing left.
Yeah. So
Whereas,
you might have a crack. It might show up later after paint,
Yeah.
when you're going on the road 6 months later.
So you're going to grind through most of your weld. Where
Yeah.
this, as you can see, you put that up there, there's almost nothing to grind. So you have that full weld because you're not grinding anything away,
Right.
which means you're maintaining the strength. And people asked, oh, can you use it on a curved panel? Because
Just
I
shows you right
demonstrated
here.
on a straight panel. Well, as you can see, these right here have more curve than any quarter panel is going to have. And it worked perfectly fine. So we're going to demonstrate it here and show how it works.
So you already tipped one edge.
Yep.
So I'm going to do the other edge here. And then while I'm doing this, why don't you set up the MiG 175? Get that plugged back in.
All right. So what are we setting up for, 20 gauge? Whoop.
Yes, 20 gauge. So we are going to tip the factory edge down.
And don't forget, in a few minutes here, we've got, actually this is our last, I think this is the last demo we have here. We're going to talk about a couple other things quickly. Then we're going to get to Matt with a TIG welder in a few minutes.
Hey Randy, why don't you give away a shirt?
Why don't we give, do we have a winner?
We do.
Oh, who won this time?
Right now it's going to be Tim Kuhn.
Tim Kuhn.
Yep.
All right, so Tim Kuhn, congratulations. You won a shirt. We'll contact you, or if you're there, you can, we'll contact you, get your address, and find out what size shirt you want. So, yeah, remember, keep sharing, because we're giving away hats and shirts throughout this broadcast. Let's give away another hat in about 5 minutes. How about we do that?
Awesome.
So in about 5 minutes, we're going to pick out another winner, so make sure you're sharing this.
It's a good looking shirt.
Oh, it is a good looking
Yeah.
shirt. Do the job right.
The other nice thing about the panel prep tool, it's got a punch. So any spot welds that you want to do, you can set them up.
And look how quick it is.
It's a lot quicker than drilling,
Yeah,
and you get a much cleaner hole.
Yeah, because you drill it, then you're going to end up with that little twirly thing. It's going to have a gnarly edge. You're
The
going
little twirly thing is called a burr.
I was trying to use a technical term. You can call it a burr. I'm going to call it the twirly thing.
Okay.
'Cause I think people can relate to that. So the twirly thing, you'd have to come back with a grinder bob. And
What's a grinder, Bob?
It's the thing you grind the twirly thing with. So anyways, you have to come back and you got to sand it, grind it down, smooth. Where there's nothing.
There's nothing. You're ready to weld.
And it's really quick.
Yeah.
You could do a dozen of them before you.
Yeah, when I
do
did the
one
door
of them.
skin on the Camaro, we punched all.
And originally had just a hand version.
We do, well, and we also have a flange punch tool
Yeah.
for doing flanges.
Okay.
If you were going to do an overlap.
Like a floor pan.
Yes. So let's grab some of our stitch weld magnets.
Ooh, I like the stitch weld magnets.
These things
Are too strong?
Yes, sometimes.
If you haven't seen these stitch weld magnets, you should check them out. We use them all the time. And at times they almost seem like they're too strong. You wouldn't think it out of a little tiny magnet like that. No, I was going to. He's working on this welding table. I'm going to walk in front of the camera here. And the cool thing about this table, we'll get into a couple. We can't show this part. It tilts. It'll actually tilt 3 ways. So you can angle it if you wanted to. Oh no, I'm going to move this over. It's got some fences, some guides on it here. So if you need a straight edge, or if you want to make a 90, you can just pull these up, use that as your 90-degree angle. It also has, this one will hold a few hundred pounds as well. And it's got these grooves in it, all through it. So that way if you need to clamp something down, you just go like that, you clamp it. So you can clamp stuff in the middle, not just on the edges. So it's a lot nicer and safer than, if you're welding on your workbench right now, probably with your chemicals there, rags with who knows what on it, you can start a fire. If you get out, if you just weld
get outside,
you can weld wherever you want to work with this. And
take it to the
it
project.
folds up flat. Joe, if you can see,
It's nice and tight. It fits in.
we have it over, you can probably barely see it. So we have one over here. So it folds away. Again, like a lot of our stuff, it folds away and you almost can't even see it.
Yeah, with many of our tools, we try to maximize the space in your shop.
Because we're working, the guy working in their home shop, they don't have a lot of room. So it's a really nice table. So if the person you got to buy for is welding, you know, make sure they got one of these tables. All right, so now we're going to start welding the sheet metal.
All right. So now one thing, when you weld sheet metal, you want to leave yourself plenty of space between each tack to allow the heat to dissipate. You don't want to start on one end and work your way all the way to the other. You want to kind of bounce around and just minimize the heat that you put into the panel. All right, so we got that tacked, and as you can see, Randy, I mean, they're nice and flat, they're low.
Yeah, you can, Joe, you can get in here, you can see, they're not raised up like the ones we saw earlier. And it's because, so if you just keep going along there, you'll just fill in that hole, and when you're done, you're gonna have the strength of the whole weld. Right. Because you're not gonna have hardly anything to
All
grind
you're gonna have to do is just grind the top down just a little.
And
if anything, it might even be low like this,
Yeah.
which would be nice, because then you can, any body work that you have to do.
Your high build primer,
it'll be easy.
surfacer, body work. So, well, one last thing, you've been modeling it the whole time, welding jacket. You know, if you don't weld in some regular clothes, because these are flame resistant.
Yes.
You don't want to weld in something else that's going to catch fire. You know, especially when you're not just welding, but plasma cutting.
And when you have a welding helmet on, you may not know that you're on fire.
Yeah, it's happened.
Yes.
Like,
you lift your helmet up and you see your arms smoking and in
Yeah.
flames, and you go to pat it
Yeah.
out. The nice thing with this jacket is flame retardant, like you're saying.
Yeah, so so if you're looking for a present to buy, a jacket like that is always a great present. Even if somebody has one, you know, eventually they do wear out, you know. You get, you know, they get filthy.
This
they get
one's
older.
starting to get a little
Yeah,
worn,
so something
but
like that's great.
They're comfortable. We have them in large, extra large, and I think double XL, right?
Yeah. So if you're looking for one, we have all the sizes you need. Scott, you have any questions on any of the stuff we've done?
One of the questions for Cody would be, what does duty cycle mean?
So duty cycle, one of the ways to look at this is think about welding in a 10-minute block. So with this MiG 175 having a 30% duty cycle at its maximum output, that means that when you have it turned all the way up and you're welding on that 5/16 plate, you can weld for 3 minutes out of that 10-minute block. And then you want to wait for 7 minutes.
Or this plasma cutter is 60%.
Right, or so 6
so you can
minutes
cut
out
for
of the
6
10
minutes out of 10. And if you don't think it's a lot, we always say, hold a pencil if you're sitting at your desk and start doing this and do this for 3 minutes or 6 minutes.
It's a long time. And the other thing, that duty cycle is actually, the test is done at 40 degrees C. So around 100 degrees Fahrenheit is when that test is operated.
So it's done at a warm temperature.
When it's winter and you're working in your garage and it's like 50 degrees in there, it's actually, you have more duty cycle.
Cool, that's good to know.
It's dependent on cooling, and they have their own thermal overload, so it's going to turn itself off. So it's not something that you have to be overly concerned about.
Okay.
You know, the welder will protect itself.
Yeah, so it's not something you have to worry about, oh, I've been welding for how long, I got to stop. The welder will take care of that. It's just so you know it's going to get the job done, because a lot of the stuff, a lot of the machines you buy out there from lesser companies are not going to have that duty cycle, and you're just
some
gonna be
may not even
frustrated.
have the thermal overload.
And most aren't going to have a 3-year warranty or a lifetime satisfaction guarantee like the MiG, the VersaCut, and the TIG. So when we stand behind our stuff, 3-year warranty, lifetime guarantee on all these welders and plasma cutters you're seeing here today.
And we carry parts too.
Yeah,
so,
we carry everything you need.
Even
all the
5 years down the
consumables.
road, we have what you need to keep your welder up and running.
So, well, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
I got a couple things to talk about, and then we're going to go to Matt. So we're going to talk about some work stands and wheel dollies and a paint gun, and then we're going to bring Matt out here, and then he's going to get into TIG welding. So if you want to do TIG welding, we're going to get to that in maybe 15 minutes. If you're just joining us, we did powder coating. We actually did some fishing lures. They're behind me. The reason we did fishing lures is because powder coating them is pretty popular, and we always do car parts. So, you know, you've seen us do valve covers. We've got a lot of videos. Bo was out here with us. Me and him did a live video about 2 months ago, and we have about 100,000 views on it already. It's a pretty popular video. So if you want to learn how to powder coating, that's a good one to check out. We did some valve covers. And me and Cody, right now, we tested out the VersaCut 60 plasma cutter. We made that beautiful Christmas tree out of sheet metal. We cut some 1/2 inch. We did the MiG 175, and like I said, we're going to get to the TIG. Let me do a couple things right now. Let's go over here to our other side of the garage. And hey, while we're doing this, let's pick out another winner for a hat. How about that? All right, so don't forget to share, because in a few minutes we're going to give out another hat live here on the air. So the first thing, can we do these? Pull these rock with. So we've got these. Let me get my wire here. Sawhorses. These sawhorses are really nice. I've got a set of them. As you can see, they go from 24 all the way up to 40 inches, and there's a bunch of adjustments in between. You can see that's what all these holes are for. They're the adjustments. So you have every few inches from here to here, which is really nice to be able to set them at those different angles. I recently was working on a frame on a 40 Plymouth I'm working on, and the frame it goes up in the back. So I was able to set these at one height and the to keep the frame level while I boxed it in and then eventually painted it. So so they're great for that. You can put, besides that, it's, stuff like this isn't just for car parts. You got lumber, you're working around the house, you can put your 2x on it, your plywood, so you can use them all the time. You can even use them if you've got a chop saw or something, and a lot of, and you're cutting something long with a chop saw, and you need a stand to hold the other end to support it so you get nice straight cuts. Something like that's great for chop saw as well. And also, if you're using those old wooden 2x4s that store like this, they take up a lot of space, which we're always talking about saving space. Let me show you how easy these are to store. So we go down here on the ground. We got a Velcro strap. We just put the sides together. Fold down, do the strap. So there it is. So you can store them about anywhere. They store up small enough that when you need them, you probably won't be able to find them because they're going to be hidden away because they actually store that small. I'd have to put some orange paint on them or something so I could find them. Serious, there's no doubt I would lose them. So yeah, really cool. So if you're looking for a great gift, dad, uncle, grandfather, husband, whoever likes it, not just for working on a car, but for woodworking, these Rockwood sawhorses, they're 1,500 pounds each too. So they're really sturdy and hold a lot of, they're going to hold a lot of weight. You're going to use them for a lot of stuff. Now speaking of holding weight, we have right here our 750-pound work stand. Great for cradling a door, hoods, trunks, fenders, anything you need, anything when you're working on a car. It's got this 3/8 foam pad. Right here, if you can see, Joe, it's got a chain, and that's how you adjust the height. So right now, it's at its lowest, widest point because we wanted to cradle the door. If you had something, you wanted it raised up a little bit, you just adjust the chains, and it'll get higher. And it also, on the bottom, it's got some non-skid tips for the end, so that way you don't mark up your concrete floor. So if you're just looking for something to buy someone, the Rockwood sawhorse or our 750-pound work stand, it's just, they're just stuff that it's nice to have around the garage. I have a few of these, and I really like using them. The foam pads protect everything, and there's a nice stand. So finally, we'll come over here before we bring Matt out. We got our Concourse Pro paint gun 2-gun set. So what makes this kit so nice is it is basically everything you need to spray from your primers all the way up to your base and clear coats. It comes with a full-size gun and a detail gun. And the full-size gun actually comes with 3 needle nozzle combinations. It comes with a 1.3, a 1.7, and a 2.0. So that's going to allow you to spray everything from your primers, your bases, your clears. And the detail gun, it actually comes with 2 tips. It comes with a 1.0 and a 0.8. And that's great for getting in all those hard to reach areas and around fender lips and everywhere else. A nice little gun like that. You get the cups, you get a pressure regulator, and you get a cleaning kit and a wrench. It all comes, you get everything you need right here in one kit. So if you don't have a paint gun, highly recommend this. It's got all stainless internals. It'll accept all kinds of paint, waterborne, to your standard paints that you're going to use to spray your car. And so if you're looking to get your first gun, this is a nice one. It is HVLP, high volume, low pressure. Let me see, I'm right-handed, so let me put this on here. There you go. So it feels really good in your hand. I have small hands, and I really like using this gun. It's got easy-to-use controls, fan control, fluid control, everything you need. Sprays really nice. We've got some nice footage of it spraying a Camaro. You can see the atomization and everything else of this gun. You know, and spraying, it's not difficult, especially if you're afraid of spraying your car, start off with primer. You can't really go wrong. You're sanding it down anyways. So, you know, so start with your primer. And as you gain confidence, I mean, if you don't have the confidence, you have somebody else spray your base if you want. But at least, you know, you get one of these, spray the primer. You can spray it when you want. You can learn how to paint. It's what I did. And yeah, and then by the time you get all that done, you'll have the confidence to spray your own base and clear. And if you already have a gun, but you have an old siphon style, get one of these, because it saves so much material. There's so little overspray. They're just really nice to spray with. So that's another great gift for somebody, you know, whether, you know, they're looking for their first paint gun set or you just want to upgrade to an HVLP. I recommend that. So we're going to bring out Matt, and we're going to go pick a winner. Do we have a winner for a hat? Oh, we decided to give away a hat, right?
Yep.
So we have a winner here?
Yep, next one up will be Andy H. I'm not going to try pronouncing his last name.
Okay, Andy H, we'll contact you. Make sure you write the name down, though.
Yep.
So we'll contact you and we'll get it. And the next thing then, in a few minutes, partway through this, we'll give away another Eastwood shirt. So make sure you keep sharing it. We're going to keep giving some stuff away. We probably have another half hour or so here. Matt's here right now. I need a drink. I mean, I'm actually going to drink a water beyond what you may have thought. So I'll let Matt get settled down.
Do we have some wheel dollies as well that Okay.
Now that you're out here. He's harassing me already.
Oh, they just yelled at me to yell at you. As you guys probably know, I do a lot of the welding and metal fab type stuff. It's my favorite thing to do. One of the first things that you definitely need if you're starting out in metal fab, auto body, or you just got your first car you want to restore or work on, a good set of hammers and dollies. You can of course find used up hammer and dollies, at a swap meet or something like that. But the thing is, you want the metal to be smooth at the end. So if you have an old used up dolly or hammer, it's going to have all kinds of imperfections, dents, damage. And when you go to hammer and dolly on your metal, it's going to put them right into your metal and kind of do the opposite of what you're trying to do. So
yeah. So if there's an imperfection in this, when you hit the metal, the
Yep.
imperfection ends up in your metal.
Yeah, so you're gonna have a little divot or whatever every time you hit. So having a nice set of hammer and dollies like this is kind of our beginner, what I call our beginner set, a good quality beginner set.
Because it's beginner because it basically has the 6 standard things
Yes.
you need. The 3 standard hammers, 3 standard dollies that you're pretty much always going to start with.
Yep. Yeah. This is pretty much the standard shapes and types of hammers that you'll need. Of course, having a chisel end for getting into tight crevices, and then you have a little pick end so that you can pick up low spots in a panel. Of course, all these are ground and partially polished really nicely. You can take these. This is good quality hardened metal, so you can actually take these all the way up to a mirror polish if you want to get your work up to that level. But they're nice and smooth to begin with. And then of course the dollies. These are the most common shapes that you'll find yourself needing.
Toe, heel.
Yep. And
Just a general purpose dolly.
yeah, and this one is nice because you can use all different sides of this. I mean, even this area on mine, I've actually taken the paint off of some of mine and they're polished in here, so you can actually hammer into an area. If you have something that's a reverse curve or something like that, you can use that area. So don't be afraid to use every inch of these. But these are really good to use. This is probably the first set that I would begin with, and you can kind of upgrade as you go. But
So, Scott, do we have any questions before we?
If they bought the Fairmount hammer and dolly set a few months ago, what hammers and dollies would you buy next?
Okay, so the question was, this set's been out for a year or two now, probably, maybe couple years. So the person asked if they've already bought this, what would you buy? If you already own this, then what would you buy next?
Okay.
So we have some other.
Yeah, I think there's some. We usually have them thrown
Yeah.
under the bench. There's a couple new ones here actually, but so for instance, we sell a line of these are kind of some of my favorites. We within the past year came out with a line of hammers that have radius hammers, I guess is the generic term that I'll use. They all have, this one here is kind of what I call a reverse curve hammer.
Like a high crown?
Yeah, it has a high crown, but it's each side of the hammer has a high crown in different directions. So this one has a cross, and this one is a vertical, like that. So for why it's called like a reverse curve, if you have an area in a panel that is, has a curve that you couldn't get.
So it helps you match
Yes,
the curve. Just like with the dollies, you're trying to find something like you're using this where it matches
Yep,
the
exactly.
shape. Same thing with that hammer then.
Yeah, because generally with these hammers, they work really well, but if you get something that has a heavy curve, you're going to start hitting the edges of the hammer on the panel, and of course that's going to cause damage. It's going to put lines in the panel. So you need to start getting hammers that have a different crown on them. So again, as you get better, you can match your dollies, you can match your hammers to exactly what you're working on. As you get even more refined, this is one that it's an Eastwood exclusive. It's something we kind of just brainstormed one time. We were talking in the shop and we came out with it. This is a grind your own hammer. So what we did is we took one of our plain wood handled Fairmont hammers, and we had our manufacturer, our factory, basically make it like double thickness. They didn't grind any material off. They just hardened the whole entire head of the hammer, and the end is blunt. What this is great for is you can sand this to exactly the shape that you need. So even if it's something that's very weird, I showed in a live, I had something that was like a belt line shape, and I didn't have a hammer that fit it nicely. So you can grind this to exactly what you want and use the hammer. And they're cheap enough that even if you only use it once or one or two places on a panel, it saves
saves a lot of money and time.
And you're not damaging your good, you're not grinding on good, nice hammers that that you're
and then
using over
toe dollies, or even big oblong,
Yeah,
anything you really need beyond. So when you go beyond this, we have everything else you're going to need too.
Yeah, this is kind of once you start getting into the metal shaping, which we're going to probably bounce around. Once you start getting into metal shaping, you get to the point where you need to start smoothing out larger panels and shapes, and that's where we have some of these post dollies, and this is what we call a forming dolly, that you can actually pound metal or use a slapper and smooth it around the shape. So again, use every square inch of this to shape metal. So this one's aluminum, so it's more for a light duty smoothing. We also sell a completely round one that is solid steel, weighs a ton, but that one is great. You can almost use it like an anvil and really hammer on it and smooth metal.
And these come in an entire set of sizes and everything else. So
there's
a lot more than what we're showing here even.
Yeah, we have, we would probably spread this whole table out, but the T-dollies, we have everything from the straight ones, tapered, and then also a curved T-dollies. So again, you're just trying to match your shape of your tool to the panel that you're working. That's what's great about these. So even though it may seem like there's a lot of them, as you start working on panels and different projects, you'll see.
But if you're just starting off, this
that's the set to have.
Yeah, this kit here, and by beginner we don't mean low quality. We mean beginner in the fact that this is if you don't own any hammers or dollies, this would be the first kit you would probably buy because it has all the standard ones that you want. Or like you were saying earlier, if you have some old set that's got all the imperfections because somebody was using it to hit nails or using it just to beat on rusty metal before they cleaned it up, and it's got all that. Now you're just going to put that into the clean metal you're trying to fix, and you're just going to make more work for yourself.
Yeah, I feel like pretty much anybody, I'm not going to, we're not going to lie. Everybody ends up, their first set of hammers is either hand-me-down from dad or, grandfather, or you found this yard sale swap meet. Don't necessarily throw those away, but keep those for when you're working on that rusty project. And then I keep a nice set for when I'm doing, your nice clean work after you repair a panel. You use these, but if you do need to hammer on something that's a rusty edge or whatever, keep those old ones in the toolbox. Definitely don't throw them away. But this is what you need: is a nice clean set that's quality that you can use. Is definitely what you need.
So if you want, you have hammers and dollies. You want to. What's the next thing you would step up to?
Probably after I had a good set of hammer and dollies. So stretches for you. So we've been selling these for many years. This is probably a tool that I would say a lot of our longtime customers, this is probably one of the first things
of it shrinking. There. Frame. And even in a Camaro, where Cody has bought every single piece, there was still a part he couldn't, he couldn't buy that part, so he had to make it. So even if you have something like a first-gen Camaro, you still need something like this.
And the other thing is, I know Cody's got good quality panels. You got the AMD stuff that's a good quality and fits. But man, there's a lot of panels that don't fit as nice as some of the stuff he's come across, where you end up having to use these tools to further make the panel fit your car. So just because you buy panels off eBay, patch panels, that doesn't mean they're going to fit. You may have to still have these tools and adjust them to your car, or maybe your car is just old and tweaked and it needs some love to get it to fit. So,
but beyond that, you can go a little further with this tool, right?
Yeah, so you can do more with this tool, and that's in recent years for me as I've been stepping up my game. I've been using the shrinker more to manipulate a panel
in conjunction with an English wheel, which is.
So
we're going to get into if you really want to take it to the next level.
Yeah. So if you get to the point where you're doing stuff that's so custom that you don't have a patch panel for it, or you're working on something that's so odd that they just don't make anything, you end up just making all your stuff from scratch. So this tool, we have our bead roller as well as a good one, but that has a really kind of narrow, limited use. But but this tool, and then going over to an English wheel. This is a piece that we made, I don't know, in one of our videos or somewhere along the way. And we're using, and I'll show you in a minute, we use the shrinker around the edges to actually kind of help bring this bowl shape around more by using the shrinker. So we're not necessarily curving the panel, we're actually just bringing the lip down to kind of go in the direction that we want it to go. Otherwise, the only other way to do this would be to do the farmer's cut or the relief cut, which is not very good, or
a lot more work.
Yes, or you can do a tuck shrink where you actually hammer a tuck into it and hammer it back out. Very labor intensive, and if you do it wrong, you end up stretching the metal. It goes the wrong way anyway, so you're back to square one or worse. So,
and if people are wondering, you can do 16 gauge aluminum, 18 gauge steel, and 22 stainless. So you can do aluminum all through stainless with it.
Yeah. I mean, I use this on primarily the stuff I'm doing is 18 gauge steel, and this works it without a problem.
Yeah, there's no problem.
The other key is just making sure if you're doing a flange or something, you start with half the jaw. A mistake that I see beginners make is they try and shove this piece all the way in with 18 gauge steel and try and do all their shrinking in one shot. Shrinking happens no matter what method you're doing, whether it's this tool or another method. You have to do it in sections, increments to get you what you want. So.
And if it seems like it's not working a little bit, you can blow it out or take the jaws out, hit them with a wire brush.
Yeah.
Because they'll build there will be a little bit of metal shavings get in them, but it's not really, the maintenance is very, very.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a set of jaws that are probably 5-6 years old, and other than just cleaning them, like Randy's saying, I haven't had to replace them or anything like that, and I use mine pretty heavily.
So should we try the English wheel?
Yeah. So I got a piece over. So this is the piece that that we were using to demonstrate. I started roughing a panel in.
Hold on, before we get there, I'm supposed to mention the vise.
Oh.
I already forgot the wheel dollies. So the vise, if as you can see, we've used it for the brake flaring. We used this. This is an 8-inch vise. It'll open 8 inches, and it actually has jaws in here to hold a pipe. Yeah. So not only can you hold square tubing and everything up here, it actually has lower jaws here. To hold pipes, round objects, whatever you need. So it's really, really handy. We have a 6-inch version as well, a smaller version if you don't need the real big heavy-duty one. And it swivels. It can swivel the whole way around. You just loosen these up. I'm not going to do that right now because we're going to keep using this.
Yeah.
With the English wheel. But I just wanted to mention it while Matt was getting ready. If you're looking for something for a car guy, a vise that's one of the first things you're ever going to have.
Yeah,
is a vise.
And the nice thing with those are, if you look at the cost of vintage vices, it seems to be a thing guys are really getting into, vintage vices are really, really nice and heavy duty, but the prices have gone through the roof with those. So for something that's very high quality, you can get probably 2 or 3 of these for one vintage one that probably needs a restoration.
And you may want 2 or 3.
Yes, definitely. So I got this piece here that I've already, we're not going to go into the whole process. We have a bunch of videos if you want to watch any metal shaping stuff, but I've roughed in on our sandbag with our mallets. I've roughed in this bowl shape here, and this
So
is...
that eventually becomes, well, it
Yes.
starts out flat.
Yes, it starts out as a flat panel, but
And we picked it up there to save some time.
Yeah, I probably got maybe 5-10 minutes into this, just hammering it. I've rolled in the wheel once, I hammered it again to bring the shape up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to our what we call our knockdown English wheel, one of the reasons it's nice is it ships. You can ship it UPS or FedEx without having.
Yeah, you don't need a truck. You don't have to have a truck that's going to charge you an extra $125.
Yep.
Because that's why it folds down, ships easy.
And you can bolt it together. And the other nice thing is if you're a guy that doesn't use this stuff often, you might do a restoration and maybe you drive your car for years and don't do anything else. Unlike me, I have 10 projects going at once and I use my wheel weekly. But if you don't, you can knock this thing back down and store it away, so it takes up almost no space, or you can leave it like this, unbolt it and shove it underneath your workbench, which is what we do here because we're always swapping stuff out.
Yeah.
And just bolt it back up. It's
20. It's still decent. It's 20 inches.
Yeah.
So you can get like a 40-inch piece.
Yeah, you can get it. I mean, you can do a HUD top for
18 inches this way, 20.
Yep.
So you can still do pretty big stuff.
Yeah, you can do big patches. I mean, you're not going to get the whole roof of a car in here, but you're also not paying $10,000 for this wheel.
Yeah.
So the wheels, once you step up to a wheel that can do that, your cost significantly goes up. But for most of your average guys in your shop, it's a good size. It doesn't flex too much, and it comes standard with one wheel.
5-inch anvil.
Yep,
we have the
5-inch anvil, and then we also sell a set that's an additional 4.
I think it's 4. Yeah, you can get a set of 4 more.
Yeah, and if you want to step your game up further. But the English wheel, if you guys haven't used one before or haven't seen any other videos, you can turn the bottom anvil up so that it almost touches here, and I'm going to roll it and get rid of all these. Well, you guys might not have been able to see.
It looks like a sack of potatoes right now.
Yeah, so if you haven't used one of these before, this process is really scary. It's smashing the crap out of your panel with a hammer, which is the opposite of what most of you guys are trying to do, trying to smooth it out.
It was the first thing I did. When I bought one, I'll admit, okay, I always thought English wheel, that was like, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 5 people in the world that use an English wheel.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed. Until they came along with the internet and there's videos everywhere. Yeah. But, when we brought this one and Mark wanted one, he designed, he develops this one, he gets it in. And I see you guys start using it. I was like, I got to try it. So I get one, and that's the first thing I did was, and in front of my dad and some friends, beat the crap out of it like that, put it in there, and in like a few minutes, I had this. And they're amazed. I was like, wow. And you realize, so now I use it, if you want to make a little patch panel, something, get some shape in it, it's not scary. Once you start using it.
Yeah, now you have to respect the tool because you can mess the panel up if you go crazy, but to do the basic stuff like we're doing here to put shape in a panel, smooth something out.
Now, I'm not a hand building a car like Mike Phillips.
Yeah.
I'm just making I'm making a little patch panel.
Right.
But if you've seen Mike Phillips, he's a local guy from downtown. He's done some videos with us. So if you really want to try to get some more advanced skills, Matt does videos here, live videos, so you can ask questions. Mike Phillips from Phillips Hot Rod, he's been in here doing some videos, some really extensive ones.
Yep.
He's got a lot of great tips too. So once you go beyond what you're doing now and you want to keep learning, that's the great thing now with the internet. There's so many videos out there on how to, the basics, the intermediate, to just really advanced, tricks. And you can see.
Yeah,
45 seconds.
I've got most of the damage out. Yeah. And I'm cranking the wheel up a little harder than I normally would just to make it move. But I might only take another 20 seconds more than we're doing here. But you can hear that the bumps are going away. It sounds nice and smooth now. I can actually start to see a reflection in the panel.
And basically, you just keep going. It's almost, you go back and forth, just move over a little bit each time.
Yep.
And then because it's round, you're swapping.
Yeah, I'm just going around in all directions to make sure any spots that I might have missed, I'm hitting. But at this point, I'm probably smooth enough that we can get rid of the potato chip effect on the edge. But I'll just get to the edge here. I'm gonna loosen this.
And if you're not sure if the person you got to buy a gift for, they're in the cars, they'd want an English wheel, get one. Trust me, they'll
Yeah. I always joke that the English wheel and the TIG welder are two tools that every guy wants, whether he knows how to use it or not, because he wants to stand there with his arm on it with his buddies at the shop and say, yeah, I got an English wheel. And it's just but
and then when they can use them, then
then it's awesome.
even better.
But so this panel's pretty smooth, but we got all this waviness here on the edge. So this is a good, more of an intermediate use of the shrinker stretcher. I have a line already drawn around the outside edge here, and this is where we want the panel to start curving down to create our bowl effect.
It'll start gathering the metal, so it's not wavy.
Yep, it'll gather the metal together. It's already telling us where we kind of need to shrink, and it's also it's going to smooth it, but it's also going to bring it around in the direction that we want it to go. So I'm going to do just a little section, of course,
with the shrinker.
With the shrinker, of course, this stuff takes time. To make this perfect and ready to weld in a car, you may have a bunch of time into it, but we want to show you just
We're just trying to show you how it works. Is there any
Quickly.
way Joe could get over where I'm at, or over
yeah, because
so we can see it? You're gonna have to.
I'm a
You have to
little
bear
awkward.
with us here for a second. Joe looks like he's getting tired. He's been holding the camera now for an hour and 40 minutes. Do we have any haters on Joe today, Scott? Have they been popping up? No.
No.
Yeah, they only come out at night on they don't like to deal with you on live videos. I don't think.
So you can see I'm kind of helping the panel a little bit, but I'm giving it just a tiny little tug down because that's the direction I want it to go as I'm shrinking, because I know I want it to do that already. So I'm kind of just helping it a little bit. But
you can actually watch it as you do it. You see the wave. You bring down the handle twice, and you can watch the shrink. You can see it right through there. It's
yeah, I mean, I
away.
already had a big wave like that, and already I haven't even fully worked that. But the reason you put a line in the panel. No, I grabbed the jaw funny.
Uh-oh.
That was my fault.
Hold on, I think, you want to come over here and look at it? I think it jumped out here. Right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Let's see if I can get it to go back in its home here.
No, it's got to go this way. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So we're live, baby.
So when I pulled this out, because we got this big tuck here, these jaws are so grabby or not sharp, but it's like a serrated edge. If you pull the panel out a little too aggressively like I did, that happens. So there we go. Now it's happy. So nothing's really, it's just got a little spring on both of these that push outward pressure when it's not shrinking. And if you pull out the panel, I pulled it out at an angle, it pulls it out of its little socket.
That's actually
here.
one of the first times I've seen that happen.
I do it all the time. I must be too aggressive with the panel. I don't know. But it happens a lot when you're doing these tucks, because I think you got a high spot and when you're trying to pull it out.
Yeah, you get the big wave.
Yeah, so when it's smooth metal, it's no problem, but when you're...
Yeah.
But now got away from that crazy wave there. I can kind of move a little faster.
That's pretty crazy the way, you can see that wave just going away.
Yeah. So if you guys are just new to this, there's a whole, there really is a science behind it. But see there, it's getting a little back into a wave. But there is a science behind it. But you can learn these tips pretty quickly by watching some of the videos. So you can see just that section. I'm following that line because I want it to start really coming down there.
But yeah, so it looked like this.
Yeah.
And now it's...
Yeah, we got a nice smooth edge. And
so you can see how, it takes a little time, another 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
You could get it close to this.
Yeah. So I do this process, hammer in the bag, go to the wheel, and you can go back and forth. But this is a good first shape if you're getting these tools to learn how to make, because once you do something like this, you can start translating it to an actual part on your car. But the English wheel is definitely something that you need to step up your game. For stretching metal and making parts from scratch, it's definitely one of the best things.
Yeah, so all these, from the hammer and dolly set, if you're just getting started, great for beginners or people that that have it, like you said, you want to upgrade.
Yep.
If you're looking, if they already have a set, the shrinker stretcher is the next thing you want to buy. You'll just find so many uses for this.
Oh yeah.
Like whenever you're wondering, how do I make that? A shrinker stretcher is probably involved.
Yeah, at some point you touch that tool.
And like you said, and then the English wheel, the ultimate thing, You know?
Yeah, the English wheel will really open your mind once you learn how to use the English wheel. You can really start making patches, and you'll find yourself not even looking to buy patch panels anymore because
Yeah.
you can make it that quickly. You know, for a sheet of metal for what, $60 or something like that,
Yeah.
you can buy a sheet and you can make most of the patches for your car once you have
Save
these tools.
thousands of dollars.
Yes, so that's
So yeah, so even when you buy these tools, they're going to pay for themselves.
oh, for sure.
So now what, TIG?
Yeah, well, I think once you make your panel, next thing you're going to do is want to weld it into the
Yeah.
car. I know you guys showed the MIG welder. The TIG welder is near and dear to my heart. That's what I like to use.
Set up. Do we have a winner for a shirt?
We do.
Who is it?
Next one up is Root Custom.
Ruti, another one. Ruti, he's on here a lot, you know, commenting. He's used a lot of our products. So Ruti Custom, you got a shirt, we'll contact you. Actually, he usually contacts through YouTube. So we're going to have to, I guess we'll try to message you or something to make sure we get the size for the shirt and your address to mail it. Yeah, so Ruti, thanks for watching and sharing, and we'll get you that shirt. So now we got to set up for the TIG.
Yeah, so TIG welding, again, you know, in the idea of stepping up your game, oh boy, it's stepping up your game. You know, once you've been MIG welding for a while, it has its place, but when you start trying to step up your game and making things a little cleaner and nice, seamless repairs, TIG welding is probably where you want to direct yourself. But if you're just starting out and you've never touched a welder in general, TIG welding does take some time to learn. But our TIG welder is probably, I heard you and Cody talk about, it's probably one of the easiest welders on the market as far as TIG welding goes to pick up.
I was really frustrated, and then I got one of ours right after they came out, and it like changed my outlook on TIG welding. I thought it was like so incredibly difficult. I mean, it's obviously harder than MIG.
It is.
But to have some confidence to realize, okay, now like within minutes I had it to where I was like, okay, I understand it. I see the puddle. I see what's going on here, actually, while you're setting up, can we show, our technical director, we can show, we have footage, and we have videos all over the internet that really show you. So if you want to see, to learn, we got to grind it.
We'll be all right.
We have it over there, actually, if we want to grind it.
Plugged on?
But there's an outlet right there to plug it in. I was prepared, kind of. I guess I should have grounded ahead of time. But as you can see, we have videos all over the internet. We might get loud here for a second. You got to grind the tungsten, which is something you got to do. You have to make sure you have a good point on the tungsten. So like I said, we got videos all over the internet, and it's actually going to show you how to start the puddle, how to add the filler rod, how to move it, and in TIG welding, and with this one, it's pretty simple. If you weren't here earlier, this one is AC/DC TIG, which means you can weld steel and aluminum up to 1/4 inch thick. It actually has a great duty cycle of 60% at 190 amps, which is almost the full 200 amps. So 60% duty cycle is pretty good for a TIG welder. You're probably never going to...
I think the only time I've ever hit the duty cycle, and I use this thing almost daily, is welding. I was welding a thick transmission case, aluminum transmission case that was a thick cast part, and I was welding for wide open throttle. For the torch was almost melting. Yeah. My hand was on fire.
And it was still going good.
Yeah, and that was the only time I think I got close to hitting it. So
And speaking of the torch, it's WP17.
Yep.
Standard consumables, cups, collets, everything you need. So you can get all the consumables here at Eastwood, or you can get them at most, like our MiG 175, you can get it at most places that sell welding supplies. Again, like our MiG and our plasma cutter, you get a 3-year warranty and lifetime guarantee on the TIG 200. So it's a really nice machine, really easy to use. On the top, if we can get Joe in, so when we set this up, so what are we welding here, 1/8?
Yeah, I think we got 1/8 inch here. We did a little MIG welding demo yesterday, and I kept this piece because it's a nice long piece. We could get a good shot.
So we'll pull this out so Joe can come in. This is just like, we do this, to make life easy for you. So Joe, if you can get, it's actually on that.
Yeah, that's all right. Cool.
I don't want to, I feel like I'm, I don't want to do that. Well, shoot.
There's a chart up there.
There's a chart. You trust me. Here, I got to pull it out this side. I thought it was on the other side. So here you go. That's going to hit the handles. So Can you see it, Joe? Or am I making it hard? It's hitting the handles. So anyways, so we're welding steel. So all you got to do, it has material thickness. You come across to 1/8 inch. It tells you to put it on DC. It's going to tell you the amperage range, 110 to 200. And you adjust the amperage on this, 75 to 125 is the amperage, which you adjust right on the pedal.
Yep.
It's going to tell you the tungsten to use, which is purple. It's going to tell you, it tells you the tungsten diameter, the filler diameter, so you're grabbing the filler rods right now. It even tells you pre-flow, post-flow, and the gas flow you should have.
Yeah, so setting the machine up is
and it has clearance effect as well.
Yep. Yeah, if you're doing your AC side, it has the clearance effect for adjusting your arc. So for setting this all up, it's pretty simple. I already touched the pedal and set my amperage. I got it maxed at, the max when the pedal's down is about 150 amps. So where
so that way you can let off, because you want to have more, because you're.
Yep.
So you just let off a little bit and right where you want.
It's all personal preference. That's why, like when Randy was reading the chart, it says like 110 to 200. You set the pedal where you like it. I mean, in the end of the day, it's where it melts the metal and gets penetration. 150 is where I like it because I have a little bit of extra room to give it more if I need it. So I set that there. I'm going to turn the pre-flow down to just 0.2. It's a gas that comes out ahead of time. And then the post-flow, I'm also turning it down for what we're welding to like just a little over 3 seconds. Clearance effect, because we're not on AC, doesn't matter. Got it on foot pedal. It does have a finger switch if you prefer to weld at a fixed amperage without using the pedal. You can do that. It's good for beginners as well, tack welding or beginners. And then we have DC, of course. This welder now has a stick welding function as well. So if you're in a bind and you need to fix something where you can't get your gas bottle and all that, or if you need to drag out and use a generator, this unit will run off a generator, and you can hook the stick welder up to it, repair a fence, fix your race car, or if you're an off-roader, you can take this out and you can do it, remotely without an issue, which is pretty cool. So, got our gas hooked up, our ground. I'll do a little weld for us.
Can we get Joe? Joe, do you want to set up and film this? Are you feeling like it? Are you feeling up for it? You look tuckered. Do we have right here's the lens. So Joe's going to we showed you some before, but we're going to go back to it. We're going to let Joe set up. He's been here for like 2 hours now holding the camera.
And you guys were talking about welding helmets. This is, I think I've had this thing since I've worked here. So this is probably, 6 years old or something like that. And it's one of our standard helmets, and I put this thing through hell. And it still works awesome. I still reach for it. Even though we have probably better helmets, it's like my old trusty, and I still use it. So, you don't have to always, especially you guys are starting out, you don't have to feel like you have to get a $500 welding helmet, when you're starting out. There is advantages to the real high-end ones, but most of you guys in your home shop, you're not going to find a need for it. So, I'm going to do a little weld here. Kind of where you need to be, Joe. Make sure. Whoop. Yeah, I got a long. You know what? Let me I'll shorten this for you so we're not stabbing Joe with my filler rod here.
Thanks, Matt.
It's all about Joe. We lose Joe, Eastwood stops. And when he goes sick, the website goes down. It's crazy. It's just he's integral to the business. All right, so let me get in here. Just moving along, doing a simple lap weld here. You can see the arc is nice and stable, other than my hand's a little shaky today. But I'm just pumping that pedal a little bit, giving it that amperage when I need it. I'll let off. Oop. Let Joe get a shot of that. A little bit of undercut there, but I was at a camera on my shoulder.
Before
it makes it.
somebody calls you out right away on the internet,
Oh,
I
yeah.
see a little undercut.
Yeah, I see that little
How do
undercut
you-
on there.
Sometimes like, how do you see that?
Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
blur
I-
the focus a little bit once in a while, Joe.
I'm just one of you guys. You know, I'm not building bridges here. You know, we're building
Pipelines.
cars. So you know, it's definitely safe. A safe weld. It's a nice, clean weld. But hey, we're all human. That stuff happens. So that's how easy it is to set it up. I mean, we just hit a couple dials, flip the machine on, and we're ready to weld. Now it's just all the practice in between to get you to that.
Yeah.
There's many hours and
But
days.
it's not. I mean, it's nothing to be afraid of, like the
No.
English wheel. You know?
No, probably the biggest mistake that our customers and guys, well, no, I shouldn't say this. Say our customers. Anybody that gets into TIG welding, they want to move too quickly, too fast. You know, they want
Because
to
they
be.
came from MIG or stick.
Yeah, yeah, and you watch it on the internet and you watch a website and you see a guy that's putting down these ridiculous welds. That guy didn't do that overnight. You know,
Yeah.
he's a professional welder. Does it 8-10 hours a day. You know, don't expect to do that overnight. So, yeah, that's
Looks nice.
TIG welder.
Like I said, we got, we're live with you a lot on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 3.
Yep.
And we do a lot of TIG welding, answer questions. So if you buy one of these, in a couple weeks, you can probably tune in on a Tuesday or Wednesday, watch one of the videos, ask questions. If you're having a problem, you can, type it in as a comment. Scott or me, whoever's over there, we'll throw it out to you. You can answer and work it, try to work through it.
Yep.
Plus, we got a lot of videos we've done that are just out there in general that, that are going to help
Oh
you.
yeah, we've done a ton of TIG welding videos just from startup and beginners, whoops, to just doing projects. We do actual real projects from start to finish using the TIG welder, so you guys can see how it's used. So make sure you review those. We'll definitely be doing a beginners live TIG video probably after the holidays, because I know a lot of you guys are probably getting one for the holidays, and you're going to be wanting the weld. So I'm going to make sure you follow us on YouTube and Facebook so you can get a notification when we go live. And I'm going to do one of the beginner TIG welding sessions to really just give you a crash course to get you going.
And then when you want to step up, gas lens kit.
Yep.
I mean, we have other stuff, that really, when you really want to start
yeah.
furthering your game,
Yeah, this is just a standard pedal, but we have a nice rocker pedal that is really comfortable to use. Gas lens kit is probably the number one thing I'd buy after I learned how to not wreck tungstens. I would buy a gas lens kit. That's a big thing to get. So we have all that stuff to step you up, just like the metalworking tools. The welders are the same. You can start with the welder and just add accessories that'll up your game as you get better, for sure.
Well, cool.
All right,
thanks
cool.
a lot, Matt.
Yeah,
I'll let
thank you.
go.
Appreciate it.
We got a few more minutes here. All right, everybody. We got a few more minutes. We've been giving away shirts and hats. If you're still with us, if you share, we're going to give away a shirt tomorrow. So that means if you're watching this recorded, you can post that as a comment, Scott. I got to give you something. You look tired. So, yeah. So even if you're watching this recorded, we're going to give away a shirt tomorrow on Facebook. So make sure you keep sharing this. And at the end of the day tomorrow, because we still are offering shipping in time for Christmas if you buy it by the end of the day Thursday, which is the 15th, right? So tomorrow. So by the end of the day, Thursday the 15th, or maybe not end of the day, maybe it's in the middle of the afternoon. I should check that. So get your order in by tomorrow, and you can still get all the stuff you've seen here in time for the holidays. And like I said, if you share it, you're going to be entered to win a shirt. We've given away a bunch already today. We got a few more things that I want to talk about that make great gifts. Matt reminded me I forgot the hydraulic wheel dollies, which we've been using. So I'm going to start off with the hydraulic wheel dollies. So we'll come over here. If you missed it, tire pressure gauge, sounds simple, but we even carry stuff like this, that makes digital pressure gauge really easy to use. We used that earlier. So you say hydraulic wheel dollies, what makes them so special? Well, it's because they actually jack the car up. Each one of these will hold 1,300 pounds and a 12-inch wide tire. And I'll show you how they work. So you just pull them apart. So put them in. And just tighten up the knob. And the nice part is like I said, typically, we sell other wheel dollies. So if you're not looking for something like this, we sell standard wheel dollies. And what you have to do is you got to have a floor jack. You jack up the front of your car. And then, and then you put them under and you move back and you do the same thing. Well, these right here jack up the car for you. And we use these all the time. I'll show you that here in a second. So it's got a safety pin. See, as you can see, the tire's off the ground. It's jacked up now. You can wheel it around. If Joe can come over here, you can see we actually have them on the back because to put the Mustang into position, we actually just put dollies under the back of it and wheeled it over. Because it's nice, because in this garage, when it's really cold out, when it's really cold out in the garage, you know, say you've got like this, a garage, you've got where you're working at a lot of times, maybe you've got a showroom, something like that, maybe you're just in a body shop, and every time you start it, there's a scuff there. What the heck? What the heck happened there? Anyways, I'm off track. Anyhow, every time you start the car, you're filling the area with exhaust fumes and carbon monoxide. So you get a set of these, you don't have to start up the car. You know, you put one under each tire, and you can wheel it around. You can put it up against a wall sideways. You can put it, you know, anywhere. You can stack cars. So these things are really nice. We got some footage because we've been using these. If we can cut to the footage, or we already did, and I missed it. Okay. So we've been using them outside, wheeling them around on blacktop, and you know, we've been using them in here. They're just, you know, they're really handy. Not only just for, like I said, for in a garage, but you know, in a showroom or anywhere, you know, anywhere else. So, all right. So you have them. There's one last thing, or two last things. Well, I'll call it one, but it's going to be two. You guys have seen me demonstrate this a lot because it's probably our most popular. It's probably a popular gift item. So if you want to buy one thing, buy a TIG welder. You know, if you got to buy two things, buy a TIG and a MIG. Got to buy three, I'd buy the TIG MIG Pro Welding Cart Combo. But if you got to buy four things, I'd buy the underhood light. Or if you just want to buy one thing, this is a great present. It's very affordable and it works great. It stretches. Are you ready, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you got to buy one present, I've probably said it a few times a day. There it is. Wow. Yeah. So, and as you can see, the tubes rotate. They rotate independently even. So you can do this one out here. You can do this one here. All right. So say I'm working in here around the shroud. I am replacing an alternator. I get all my light here. Now if I want to go to the back, you can see how dark it is back there now. Bam, I can just aim the light and now everything's lit up in the back. So I'll pull this off here and give you a little. So, you know, it stretches each side. So it'll stretch from 48 to 68 inches, which means it's going to fit everything from a small car like this Mustang all the way up to a big truck. It's got 40 super bright LEDs, puts out 1,400 lumens. So this is about twice as bright as a common LED. You just saw me twisting it. So you can twist both of these independently 180 degrees. So you can really put the light wherever you want it. The whole thing folds, which is nice if you're using it under a car, in the interior, or or next to a car, which I can show you in a minute. Plus, it has these pads to protect your paint. Because if you're using this, as you can see, the drop cord, it barely puts out any light, and it's aimed right here. You know, you've seen this. We all done it. So if you have to aim it, now you only have one hand to work with because you're holding your light with your one hand. If you set it down and try to aim it, you can see what happens. And meanwhile, the cord is running all over the side of the Mustang, which maybe scratch got there. So, so you're going to end up with scratches all over your car if you use something like that. So if you see one of these in your garage, or you see your dad, your uncle, your grandfather, your mom, if she's using one of them or he's using one of them, just right away, just go buy this for them, and they're gonna love you for it because this is a great. Because like I was saying earlier, you can actually fold it. So if you were working here next to the car, you can fold it up and just turn the tubes. Set it down here. So you can turn the tubes to aim it, So if you're working here on the car or whatever, you can actually use it like that. Like I said, you can use it under the car. I want to take it in the interior. I'll let Joe get around to this side. So say, I got to watch here. I'm almost into the stand. So say you're working in the interior here. Are you in here, Joe? You can see it's pretty dark, right? So you can fold this up. And now, boom, I turn it on. And the nice thing is if I need to look up there, I can angle them. Now I drop some. You can turn and angle them down here so you can see what's going on the floor. You can do one of each if you want. So now I'm lighting up the floor so I can see my screws and my bolts. I can see what's going on up under here. If I'm installing a stereo, doing wiring, you know, working on my heater core, whatever you got going on under there. Oh, or I can pull the interior out with it. So then, and one last thing, you can use this thing plugged in. Joe, I'm gonna come over here. Yeah, so if you're using it for a long period of time, it will operate plugged in. Or if you just want to use it as a shop light, you can come over here. So the switch is near me. So you can connect it like this. Boom. So, you know, so if you want to do some work here and you want to see, I'll turn it off. And it has two settings. So if you don't want it that bright, you can dim it down. There's off. Here's on. And again, you know, these tubes, you can adjust them. So if you don't want them aiming right in your face, you can move them a little bit. So if you got to buy one present, I know I said a MIG or a TIG or a welding cart or the whole combination. That makes a great present as well. But before we go, don't forget to share. I got one more thing to show you. Don't forget to share this because we're going to give away an Eastwood shirt tomorrow. And if you missed it, if you're watching it recorded, we did powder coating over here. So you can see all the powder coating stuff we did. We did demos with an English wheel, a plasma cutter, MiG 175, TIG 200, a shrinker stretcher, all kinds of great demonstrations. Brake bleeders, a new tool, brake bleeding wrenches. I love them. We just saw them. What a great thing. But if we can get Joe over here. So what's the first thing all car guys want, or anybody, just for around the house, is a good set of tools. We have everything you need. As you can see all the socket sets we have, from Torx and hex to just your standard metric, 1/4 inch drive, 3/8 drive, 1/2 inch drive. We got all the extensions that you need. And as you can see, we sell these cool socket trays to hold everything. So if you got one of those blow molded cases that every time you open it up, the 150 sockets just go everywhere, and you just get to the point you don't want to use that blow molded case anymore, all you have to do is throw that thing out and buy these socket trays. So if you already have the sets, get the socket trays. You can put all these sockets on them, you know, and store them good in, you know, you can store them like this on top, or you can store them in, you know, in a, like here we go. So you want screwdrivers, we got them. You want wrenches, we have all the wrenches you need in metric and standard. Now, if you're saying, but I already have a set of wrenches, I guarantee you're missing something. Everybody that has a set of wrenches is missing like the 10 millimeter, you're missing the 1/2 inch, you're missing whatever you use a lot. But even if you don't think you are, if you've never used these, are you on this, Joe? If you've never used a ratcheting wrench, if you don't have a set, absolutely get a set of these. You will hardly ever reach for your old set anymore. We have these in standard and metric. So if you're not sure what to get somebody, get them a set of ratcheting wrenches, because you can always use 2 sets, because the odds are you might use one on the nut, you have to hold the bolt on the other end. So you always need 2 sets of wrenches anyways. And if you really want to step it up, we have the flex head for hard to reach places. So if you're not sure and you want to buy somebody a nice set of tools, I really suggest, you know, a set of ratcheting wrenches or the flex head ratcheting wrenches. You can't go wrong with either one. You really can't. You know, and plus we have all the other tools you want to. There's more, we got more wrenches in all these drawers. So, all your locking pliers, so anything you need, we have it here at eastwood.com. So I guess I'm going to wrap it up here. Scott, do we have any final questions?
What would you want as a gift?
What would I want as a gift? I think I have this set up, the TIG 200 MiG 175 Pro welding cart. If I didn't, that is what I would want, that whole thing. But honestly, I'd be happy with any of this stuff. If I didn't have any of it, at some point I didn't have any of it. The shrinker stretcher, if you're into metal fab, that is just, I love the shrinker stretcher. I use it all the time. It makes you think completely differently about metal fab when you're trying to do stuff. Welders are great. If you're looking, to stay on more of a budget, the Rockwood sawhorses, I use them all the time. Like I said, they're great. I've used them to hold a frame, and they're also great for lumber, plywood, 2x, whatever you're doing. It just depends. You really can't go wrong with any of the stuff we showed you, which is why we showed you such a wide range of products. You know, from MIG and TIG welders all the way down, you know, to a tire pressure gauge. You know, stuff like that. It still makes great presents, and the person's still going to be happy they've had it. Actually, if you go into tire pressure gauge, a lot of our reviews there are from professionals in shops that say they've bought like the $150, the $120 version, or somebody else in the garage owns a $120 version, so they bought the one from Eastwood because they didn't have the money, and they said it worked fine. So if you're not sure, you can always go on and check the reviews. Hammer dolly sets are nice. If somebody's talking about painting or primering their car, that Concourse Pro 2-gun set, we showed you some footage of that. You know, that's a great option. So really anything you've seen here, you can't go wrong. You know, lifetime guarantee, you know, not many people are really offering that. Almost nobody I can think of. Plus we demo our stuff live, and that takes a lot of confidence. You know, a lot of companies would never do that with their products. So you know, if they don't have the confidence to demo it live, why would you have the confidence to buy it from them? And us, you know, we're giving you a 3-year warranty on our welders and plasma cutters. 3-year warranty on a MIG, a TIG, a plasma, plus a lifetime guarantee. We really take care of our customers. And like I said, we went over a lot of these products. Powder coating was developed by Mark. The Pro welding car, you know, they're developed in-house by car guys because they have needs. Like our Contour SCT, you know, one of the most popular tools that we've ever released. It's all over the internet. Again, Mark's stripping his Corvair. He was trying to find a better way. And you know, next thing you know, we got a brand new product. Pro welding cart. He wanted a cart that held a MIG and a TIG because you need a bottle for both. You know, you need the straight argon and you need the mix, one for MIG, one for TIG. Or like Cody said earlier, what if you just have a MIG welder with a spool gun? You're going to need 2 bottles because this MIG 175 comes with a spool gun. That's a $200 value. So right there, you know, that's why the MIG 175 makes just an amazing present, because it's everything you need to do in a restoration, and you can use it for metal fab, and it comes with a spool gun so you can weld aluminum. So yeah, so really anything here today, and if you know, and there's a lot more. So all you have to do is go to eastwood.com. You check out our gift guide. We've got links, you know, in the comment section on Facebook. We got links in the description on YouTube. We're going to have a link in the video on YouTube. So you know, so you can click those links, or like I said, all you have to do is go to eastwood.com, check out the gift guide, and don't forget, we come to you live 3-4 times a week with demonstrations on how to use these products, and we take questions to help, you know, improve skills. So if that's it, thanks for joining us for this 2-hour live, and I hope everybody has a happy holidays.